Yes, guys, good evening. How is everyone? Thank you very much for joining me again on the Midnight Madness show. I hope everyone's doing well. This is where we're going to just sit back, relax, and talk about Liverpool Football Club, guys. I want everyone in the chat to get involved today, questions and debate. We're just going to have a nice, civilized conversation. Can we do that? I don't think I'll be ranting at all, you know. I think I'll be quite civilized tonight. I ain't gonna lie, but big up to everyone here already. Big up to the Coppish community who joined as well. Thank you very much. If you've not yet done so far, let's hit the like button as soon as we can. We've already got 91 people in here already. So if we can get up close to 90 likes straight away, there's no reason why we shouldn't. With 91 people in here, hit that fun button straight away, guys. Let's get these likes straight up if we can. Subscribe if you're new around here and share as well, guys, especially if you're a Liverpool fan. I'd appreciate it. So, how is everyone doing? I hope we're all doing good today, guys. It's been a mad old day. I was going to do a video earlier on the whole FSG thing, but then I had to think about it. I sat down on my own and had a thought, I read some more information out. I thought, no, you know, it's not right. It's not the right time. So we're not. I will talk about it in this video, though. Tom Werner's quotes that are doing the rounds today. I will talk about that whole situation there with FSG. I think it's only right to talk about that as a Liverpool channel. We'll also be talking about transfers and the apparent money we've got to spend. So, yeah, strap yourselves in, guys. Let's have a good one. Big up Gary in the house as well. Been a member for 11 months. Big up my man Gary. Big up Colin in the house as well. Hope you're doing well. Big up Lee. Kingsman in the house as well. Man like Connor. Jamie. I hope you're doing well, guys. Big up to everyone. Harry is everyone this evening. Anyway, big up Double A in the chat as well. Scottish Bear in the chat. Yan, how you doing, my friend? Cameron, how you doing? I hope everyone's doing well. Big up to everyone here. Big up Honesty in the chat as well. Big up Honesty, how you doing well? Big up Max. So, guys, we are, the transfer rumour mill is rolling. What do we expect? This is Liverpool Football Club after all. The transfer rumour mill will always keep rolling, considering who we are. But, we've gone from certain players like Edison as a DM that being squashed. We've gone to people like apparently Elise is on Liverpool's radar. And then today we're going on about someone who's a Newcastle player who played on loan at Feyenoord last season, who's a young winger that apparently Liverpool are very much in for tonight as well. So a lot of interesting stuff. A lot of young players that Liverpool are interested in as what I'm seeing. Now a lot of young players that Liverpool are interested in. But before I get on with all the transfer talk, yeah, let's just talk about this whole Tom Werner quotes that are going around today. It's interesting because if you're a massive FSG out person, which I'm not, I've always said I just want to clear something up for everyone right now. So obviously I did my thumbnail and all that for earlier, then I've deleted it all that thinking it's not quite right to do that kind of video, right? So I deleted it all, thought about it. What I want to tell everyone right here, if you've not listened to me before, I'm not anyone really out or in. What I am is if someone's done something wrong, I will talk about it. So I've never really been on this FSG out or in bandwagon as much. If FSG are doing something right, I think it's only right to praise them in what they're doing. If they do something wrong, then we can talk about why they're doing that. This is the channel, guys. I don't really have agendas. I don't sit with an agenda. Right, we're going to do this. We go, right, I'll just go bash, 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 bash. It's not my real thing. The only real people I've got agenda to is Luis Diaz, and that's about it. But I try not to go too far with it. I try to see, a little bit, how do I say it? I like to see two sides of the coin. Do you know what I'm saying? I look at it as two sides of the coin. There's always a negative side and there's always a positive side. And that's I try and look at it. But I will talk about things that I think are wrong at the same time. Like one thing, big Blue Chand says, speak on about your sponsors. Spoke about the sponsors yesterday. So if anyone wants to go and see that, I did speak about the sponsors yesterday. I also will say this. So I said yesterday that Spirit of Shankley never said anything about Standard Chartered, the sponsors of Liverpool Football Club, that I can find. Now, today, with this news that Tom Werner saying he'd love Premier League games as being America and like Washington and New York and stuff like that, and and bring it over to the States. Spirit of Shankley quote tweeted that thing that was on Twitter today that Tom Werner said, but I never saw him say anything about the Standard Chartered stuff. It's an interesting. It's interesting from them. If they have said it, I haven't seen it. Big up Drifty in the house. Drifty, if you want to come on, man, I can always send you the link if you're up and about, man. Drifty, if you're up and about and you want to come on, you're more than welcome, man. I can send you the link. Yeah, it's. Everyone who knows me will know that I don't have this agenda against anybody. I don't like hypocrites and stuff like that. So, the Spirit of Shankley, they, thought they were saying the right thing about the ticket increase. In my opinion, I don't think it was the right time to protest about a ticket increase. In my opinion, I didn't think it was the right time to really do that. It's a quarterfinal of a European Cup. Is that the right time? I do think the atmosphere led to a more damp game where we weren't at our best. No worries, Drifty. We'll see you soon, man. And I didn't think that helped. No, I didn't think that helped with that time. I think they didn't pick the right time to do their protest. Notice that they've never really protested against FSG for getting out of the football club. You will have noticed that. And when the Standard Charter stuff come up, I've seen no protest about, Standard Charter as our main sponsor should now not be our sponsor anymore. We stand up against that. But again, I saw him today stand up against the fact that what Tom Werner said about games being played in America. And I just find it a little bit. I find it a bit hypocritical sometimes. I find it a bit hypocritical, if you guys know what I mean. It just, if you're going to be standing up for the football club, which Spirit of Shankley are meant to do, they're meant to stand up for our football club and making sure our football club gets run properly and have a voice. They're meant to be our voice, yeah? They're meant to be our voice, right? So it's like they're picking their battles. Like the Standard Chartered stuff that got really a lot of publicity over the last 48 hours. It's quite a big deal. It really is quite a big deal when you think about what's happening with the world today, the wars going on around the world, especially in the Middle East. And these sort of stories come out. It's not a good look for a football club like us. You hear what Borussia Dortmund done and with their sponsorship deals that Borussia Dortmund done, and the Borussia Dortmund fans at Champions League final had their own protest against what they felt about it. It's like we're choosing our battles. And I've always been at the fact that if you want to support our club and you want to try and get a voice for the voiceless, and you're trying to stand up for the rights of our football club, I feel like you should stand up for everything. It just looks like you're standing up for the things that affect your pocket. And I think that's what a lot of people in the chat, would probably say. It looks like you're standing up for what affects your pocket. But, the Standard Charter stuff it's gone very quiet. I don't think the club are going to do anything about it. I had my say on this yesterday. I don't go too much into it. I just find it a bit, just If you're for our club, just speak about everything that concerns our football club. In my opinion, that's just my opinion, though. I could be wrong on this. I could be wrong, and I probably am wrong. Right. Let's get to what Tom Werner said, because what Tom Werner said is, yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. So, you know, let me try and find it all in here. Tom Werner says he hopes to have Premier League games in New York. I'm determined one day to have the Premier League games to be played in New York City. Tom Werner, I even have the sort of crazy idea that there would be a day where we play a game in Tokyo, one game a few hours later in Los Angeles, one game a few hours later in Rio, one game a few hours later in Riyadh, and make it a sort of day where the Premier League is celebrated. So he's on about like a certain team will be in Tokyo. A couple of hours later, another Premier League team will be kicking off in Los Angeles. A couple of hours later, another team would be kicking off in Rio, and a couple of hours later, another team will be kicking off in Riyadh. So you're cool. So he's saying like there'll be a Premier League game in every corner of the earth, basically happening all around the world at the same time. That's his apparent dream. Now, for me, that that dream is mental. It's absolutely mental. I have no idea what the fascination with not just Tom Werner or any other company or owner or the Premier League themselves were never fascinated. Do you remember a few years ago when the Premier League were trying to get a 39th game in America? Right, let's go to the United States of America and do a 39th Premier League game. I don't understand the fascination. Now, I'm not American. I'm not insulting any of my American friends here in the chat. If anyone's from America, I'm not insulting your intelligence or anything like that. I'm not coming for you. I just don't understand why the game needs to go to America. Now, soccer, football, whatever you want to bloody call it, let's call it what it is. It's football. It's the biggest sport in the world. It doesn't need franchising in any other country like that. It's the biggest sport in the world. You look at the top 10 sports teams in the world that have the most YouTube, Instagram, Twitter followers in the world. I believe 7 or 8 of them are all football teams. It's the biggest sport in the world. It doesn't need to be franchised here, there, and everywhere. Now, a lot of people will say the NFL comes to Wembley, every so often. There's a couple of games over here now with the NFL, and it gets packed houses, and the NFL don't seem to mind, and Americans don't seem to mind about that coming over and having a game in good old London, England. It's different. It's different because North American sports are not as big as football. I'm not being horrible when I say this. American football, basketball, and baseball and hockey are not as big as the sport of football. Football is a world sport. It's the biggest sport in the world. So it doesn't need to be franchised anywhere. Do you know what I'm saying? It doesn't need to go out anywhere. If you live in America, you actually benefit from watching more Premier League games than us Brits do. If you live in America, you get like Peacock and ESPN Plus, and Showtime and all this, and you can watch pretty much every single Premier League game, every single one, for hardly any money. You actually benefit more living in America watching the Premier League than you do living in Britain watching the Premier League. That's madness. That's absolutely madness. The game doesn't need this. French league should just be played in the French league. Games should be played in the French league. Spanish games should only be played in the Spanish league. German games should only be played in Germany. English games should only be played in England leagues. The only time you go across is when you're playing in Europe. When you play in Europe, when you have European Cup competitions, you'll have games across Europe. But your domestic league games stay in your domestic country. You don't need to go all over the world to just play another game so you can make a shitload of money. I think football makes enough money. When do we sit here, guys, and just go like, "That's enough"? Like, as fans and supporters of football, when do we just say to these owners, "Enough is enough"? And it's not just at FSG. I'm not digging this at just FSG. I'm digging at this at every owner in football, in my opinion. They're all wanting too much. They're all trying to find a different way of making so much more money. When's enough enough? When do we just say, "Look, that's enough now"? There's too much football. The money in football right now is absolutely mad. Scottish Dallas Cowboys are the biggest club in all sports teams than Real Madrid. Well, they're not. I mean, Real Madrid have got the most followers on social media. Hang on, Dallas Cowboys. Let me have a look at Dallas Cowboys. Hang on, Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys followers. Let me have a look. So Dallas Cowboy have 5 million followers on Instagram. Real Madrid have 172. That's just on Instagram. Dallas Cowboys YouTube channel. If I go on Dallas Cowboys YouTube channel, a minute. Let's have a look. Have they got a YouTube channel? I don't know if they've got a YouTube channel. Hang on, the NFL. What's the NFL's YouTube channel? Let me have a look what the NFL's YouTube channel is. NFL's YouTube channel is 12.8 million for the whole sport. That's for the whole sport, their NFL channel. Liverpool got 10 million just on their own as a team in a sport. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah. They're big teams, don't get me wrong. New York Yankees and the Cowboys, they're big teams because, guys, America's huge. North America's like 500, 600 million population. It's a huge country. So, of course, they've got to have massive followers, but they're nowhere near as big as football. Nowhere near as big as football. It's just, yeah, like some people won't even know who the Dallas Cowboys is, but everyone knows who Real Madrid is. It's just mad. Absolutely mad. Yeah, I agree, Jay. Unfortunately, commercially for owners comes first. This is my issue with football today. This is my problem with football today is that I don't know about everyone in the chat. Let me know what you feel in the chat. But do you feel like football as a sport is getting better or worse? I want you to put it one word in the chat. If you think football is getting better, just put better. If you think it's getting worse because of money, put worse. In my opinion, football's getting worse. It's all about, it's just the money's taking over. Everyone's putting worse in the chat. It's just, it's not good. It's making everyone, look at football. Every fan now thinks about money before the football match. Do you know that? All fans now, everyone in the worst of the chat, big up everyone in the chat, man. Everyone thinks about money before football now, for a game of football. Everyone goes, right, I'm going to play my kids in the FA Cup because I get nothing financially out of it. I don't remember football being like that. People are like, I'm not going to play my kid. I'm going to play kids in the League Cup because there's nothing financially I can get out of the League Cup. Ain't that sad? Ain't that a little bit depressing now? Teams would rather finish 17th in the Premier League because you get something like 80 million quid for finishing 17th in the Premier League. So teams now, them lower, when we talk about why do the mid-table teams and our lower teams in the Premier League not put out stronger teams in FA Cups and League Cups and try and win them cup competitions? Why don't they give it a go? The whole reason they don't give it a go, because if they finish 17th, they will get more money finishing 17th that can keep that club going for the next 5 to 7 years. Where winning the FA Cup would be lovely, but financially it won't do anything for them. It's just, and this is not me. And the owners want pieces of the pie, guys. You're talking about a Premier League that's worth billions, absolutely billions. So the owners of these league teams just want more. They just want more. They want to make profit over profit. Most football clubs in the Premier League would rather make £1 profit than lose £1. They just would. They would sacrifice maybe pushing that team, buying a player and pushing that team to go and win something to make £1 profit. And that's the world we live in today, especially with Premier League teams. It's too much money. It's too much wealth. I literally think we are not far away from a total shutdown of everything. Like a massive shutdown. The rules at the moment are fucking terrible. The rules in football right now are just off the scale bad. You know, Aston Villa, who just made Champions League football and finished 4th last season, should be commended. It's a massive achievement for Aston Villa to get back. They spent money to get back into the promised land, to get back into Champions League football, where everyone wants to play. They got there. And what's their reward for being in Champions League football? They got to sell some of their best players before they buy anyone because of the PSR rules. How mad's that? Like, literally, how mad is that? You know, how mad is that you've got to, you know, their reward for finishing 4th in the Champions League and getting to a Champions League place, they got to sell them to buy in. But Chelsea at the same time, you know, at the time, hang on, let me get this up. Scottish Bear says Dallas are the most valuable franchise in the world. Washington Commanders went for $6 billion. Dallas worth $10 billion. Yeah, I get that. Like American sport, yeah, I get that. But they're like, that might be franchising wealth, but you know, if you go, you can't compare any of them teams to Real Madrid, for instance. You know what I mean? It's like if you look at the World Cup, 1 billion people watched the World Cup final. I know how many people watched the American football final, whatever it's called. I don't even remember what it's called now. What, a couple of 100 million? That's the barometer. I think more people watch the Champions League final than probably watch the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? There's no comparison. No comparison. You're contradicting yourself. PSL is in place to protect football from too much money. Yeah, but the problem is it also stops teams catching other teams. So Aston Villa got 4th and now have to sell some big players to buy players to get into Champions League football. That should be the case. They've made Champions League football, so their revenue for next year will be higher than it was this year. So they really shouldn't have to sell anyone. But at the same time, Man City can keep spending. So Man City can keep spending and don't really have to sell anyone. Liverpool can keep spending but don't really have to sell anyone. Chelsea, apparently now, because they sold their hotel back to themselves, can keep spending and don't have to sell anyone. But people like Aston Villa and Everton and Nottingham Forest, and you know, they have to. So they can never catch up. Like Aston Villa shouldn't have to sell anybody. How can Villa ever catch up if you're a Villa fan? It's not right. It's not right. Yeah, in America as well, their revenue is a lot through commercials, ain't it? And this is not me getting at North American sports, by the way. If you love North American sports, much love to you. You know, they're exciting sports and they're great sports. I just don't think any North American sport compared to football, because football's a world's, it's a world sport. You know what I mean? It's totally different league. Herdsman says, big up Herdsman for the super chat, by the way. Big up to you, my friend Jamie. Is never enough. Always remember that if they make $1 billion, they go for 2, and so on and so on. I agree. And that is business at the end of the day, and I get it. It is business. Don in the house, how you doing? Don, are you doing well? A Don called Slatan says, Jamie, the main reason American sport makes so much money is because they have to have 5 or 10 commercials per game. No joy in it. Yeah, I've heard about that. There is a lot of commercials in them sports. Big up Nico LFC, my friend. That's Fat James now from New York. Big up, my man. Big up to you. Much love to you, my friend. Jamie is right. The Super Bowl final viewings were 123 million. The World Cup final viewings numbers of 1.5 billion. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's just madness. And then so I don't understand why Tom Werner's saying these things. And Tom Werner is our chairman. He's not the owner, but he's the chairman of Liverpool Football Club, and he does work. He is the chairman of FSG at the same time. But the contradicting thing in all this that I read today, there's what I read today is quite of a, I don't know if it's a worry, but John W. Henry says he's against it. Now, John W. Henry is obviously our owner. He actually owns FSG. Tom Werner's the co-owner, but John W. Henry's the boss. He's the man, right? And, I've got the quotes here. Let me get them up. I don't want to be misquoted. Let me get out what David Lynch said. So David Lynch has said, important to note that in the same piece, John W. Henry says, this idea is not something that I advocate or I'm particularly interested in. Still laughable for Tom Werner to claim clubs have sustainable travel to games abroad when they can't even keep ticket prices down at home. Yeah, that's also what he said as well. Tom Werner said, Tom Werner, our local fans can go to see Liverpool abroad. Let's figure out a way to offer them very cheap travel and accommodation so that if Liverpool is playing Nottingham Forest, we'll support fans coming to New York to make it an attractive thing. Who wants to see, I'm not being funny, guys. I don't want to see Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest in New York City. And this is not, I love New York City. New York City is one of the greatest cities on earth. And that's not me slagging New York City off. I do not want to see Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest at New York City. Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest should be in 2 of the most traditional, great stadiums this country has to offer, in the City Ground and at Anfield. That's where it should be held. It makes enough money. Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest at a packed 60,000 seat at Anfield makes enough money. It doesn't need to go anywhere. Everyone around the world is watching it. You're watching it in America, Australia, Italy, Spain, Germany, Britain. You're watching it everywhere. South America, you're watching it everywhere. It doesn't need to travel. It doesn't need to travel. It just, I don't get this. Big up, Richard. Hope you're doing well, man. I don't get it. But yeah, where David Lynch said it's important to know, John W. Henry says this idea is not something that he'd advocate or he's particularly interested in. My worry is that Tom Werner and John W. Henry don't think the same. Like there's a miscommunication there. Why is Tom Werner, who's the co-owner, not the out-and-out owner, coming out saying this about taking the team around America and that's his dream and stuff like that? And our owner, John Henry, is actually saying no. Now, if you believe reports from about a year ago now, I believe it is, when when FSG were thinking about selling Liverpool Football Club, apparently it was Tom Werner who wants to sell Liverpool Football Club, and it was John W. Henry who wants to keep it. So Tom Werner wanted to sell Liverpool. He thought, we've made our money now, let's move on. He wanted to sell. John W. Henry didn't. Tom Werner was apparently open to offers and John W. Henry wasn't. We're also now hearing that John W. Henry doesn't believe that games should be abroad. They should stay where they are. But Tom Werner thinks they should go abroad and go around the world and all different Premier League games on all different corners of the planet at the same time. So at the moment, you got FSG where they're both thinking differently, and I don't want any in-house fighting. That's the last thing we need. No matter what anyone thinks of FSG, no matter if you're in FSG, you're out FSG, you like FSG. I'm not even talking about that, but you don't want any in-house fighting. Decisions need to be made. Now, personally, John W. Henry is the main owner of this football club. He's the main person who runs FSG. He has the final say. And if he's saying, right, that's never going to happen, it's never going to happen. Now, I know a lot of people saying about the Super League. I know a lot of people are saying about the Super League that they wanted to go and join the Super League. And a lot of people were against the Super League. I remember Gary Neville coming out, other Premier League legends coming out and saying, no, the Super League's a terrible idea. We know Jurgen Klopp and all the boys said it was a terrible idea. Does anyone actually think the Super League is a terrible idea today? Like right now, the way football is, Man City trying to sue the Premier League so they can get rid of that sponsorship law that's there at the moment. So if that's not there anymore, City can basically do whatever they want, right? It would ruin British football, right? Put a yes or no in the chat. Put a yes or no in the chat. If the Super League was a thing now, would you be against it? Yes or no in the chat. Just put yes or no in the chat. If the Super League was around now, with knowing everything you're knowing that's happening to football today, would you be against it? No? Would anyone actually be against it too much? It's just... Look, there's some things in the Super League that I didn't like. You got to have relegation and promotion. You got to be able... You can't be a closed shop. I don't like things that are closed shops. European football doesn't... We don't do that in European football. World football, no one really plays with a closed shop. Promotion, relegation, there's ways to get in and lose things and get out. That's the way it is. But the way football's going now, it's just mad. It's absolutely mad. It's just... It doesn't... and you look at the Champions League guys. I know a lot of people were saying screw the Super League, but look at the Champions League guys. Champions League ain't too far off what the Super League was. UEFA have taken a lot of ideas from the Super League and put it into their own. I just wonder if they're... I just think we're in for football Armageddon soon. I just think something bad's going to happen. I don't know about you guys in the chat. I just feel like something bad is going to happen soon and we're going to get football Armageddon. And it's just... shit's going to go off the rails. I think shit will go off the rails if Manchester City win all their appeals. If Man City win all their appeals and court cases, I wouldn't be shocked if there's some kind of shit that hits the wall. We have some kind of football Armageddon in this country. I think the whole thing needs a reset. We need to sit down and work this money shit out. You're either got really rich owners where you're allowed to spend, right? And you just let them spend, but then you don't cap everyone else. Or everyone just becomes a self-sustainable football club. So you only spend what you earn. You spend what you make. And, if it's that, everyone's got a chance. I don't know. I don't know. Delwyn Jones, big up to you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. If you compare WWE and UFC together with TKO, they're doing so much money now because they are global, doing the right thing for sports business and entertainment. Yeah, exactly. And the thing with that, TKO is a franchise. They're doing more money now because it's a global franchise all around the world. Premier League football is a global enterprise anyway, isn't it? It's a global enterprise anyway. It's a global enterprise anyway, making more money. I don't know if there's a country in the world that probably doesn't show Premier League football. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's a global enterprise already. Big up to you, Delwyn Jones. Thank you for super chat on this evening. I do appreciate it. Zero plus one says it's all planned. Jamie, if City win all their cases, including the case they have against the FA, then City and especially Newcastle are clear gone. That will force us all to join the Super League to compete, or a breakaway Premier League, That's my other issue with it. Like teams just go, you know what, we can't compete, and it's not the Liverpools and all that. I feel like, you know, your Aston Villas, and in your Evertons and teams like that with great legacies, you know, big teams in this country, in England, will break away and make their own league and go, we're just going to compete against ourselves and get our own money that we can, you know, play with. And because obviously the only thing everyone can do is tell the Premier League, no one's playing till it's all sorted out. We need this. We need a reset. We need to sort all this out. And all the teams just take a stand and go on strike and go, look, we ain't playing. Sort this Man City stuff out. Just go and sort this Man City stuff out. We can't keep playing when we don't know what we're playing against. You know, no one knows what they're playing against. And this is not me having a go about Man City or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, no one knows what you're playing against. It's like if you let Ben Johnson kept running the 100 meters, even though he's a drugs cheat, and you go, well, just let him keep competing at every Olympics till someone beats him. That's what it's like at the moment. It's like Lance Armstrong. Yeah, just let him keep competing all those juicing. It doesn't matter. Just let him keep competing till someone beats him. That's what it's like at the moment for everyone. That's how everyone feels right now. And we need clarification to move on in this game. We need clarification. Because at the moment, every single year, it's like, well, City have got all these charges on when something going to happen because we don't know what we're playing against. It's just football needs a reset, especially in this country. I don't know if it's a wage cap. Let me know in the chat, guys, if you think it's a good idea. Should we have wage caps? Should there be some kind of wage cap? I don't know how you police it or you monetize it. I don't know if you've got to go. Every certain team has a wage cap at a different level because, you know, Liverpool and Man City be bringing in more money than, say, Everton or a Burnley. So their wage cap would be higher than Everton and Burnley's. But how do you go about it? How do you monetize it? What do you do? Something's got to be done, in my opinion, or we're going to go into football Armageddon soon, where everyone's just counting money now. Like everyone. I used to think Liverpool fans were the only fans that were accountants. Now everyone's doing it. You hear Arsenal fans going, right, we might need to sell this to buy that. You hear Aston Villa fans going, right, we need to sell this to buy that. Newcastle fans are like worried that they're going to lose an Isaac or something like that so they can spend money. Everyone's an accountant. Should football fans be accountants, guys, or should we be sitting here enjoying the beautiful game and watching our team without that worry? It's a madness to me. I don't know if you can bring a wage cap in because it's so hard to monetize because each team brings in more money than, you know. Look, rich teams always win stuff. Liverpool, you know, in the 70s and 80s were paying players more money than a lot of other teams in Europe could because Liverpool had money. Now, teams have always had money. Money's always been there at different levels, yeah? But we're talking about at this moment in time, in the history of football right now, we're talking about ridiculous wealth. We're talking about wealth that is unmanageable. And I'm not blaming state-owned. I'm not saying this is a thing, but we have state-owned football clubs now that have wealth that you can't think of. You know, the City owners, the Newcastle owners, they have wealth you guys can't think of. It's not, look, City owners and the man and the and the Saudis that own Newcastle, they're not in your Times top 100 richest people in the world thing because they can't be audited. Because you're not auditing them, so you can look at their books and see how much they are. You can't do it. They got wealth no one can think of. It's just look. There's always been money in football, and always the teams that are the richest are usually the most successful. So I get that, but I think we're talking about wealth right now that's on an unprecedented level. It's just on an unprecedented level, and this goes into the summer transfer window as well. Like Max says, there, City just basically sponsoring themselves. Exactly, it's mad, absolutely mad. It's just that we're going to this transfer window this summer for all football teams. Who I think it's going to be a quiet summer. Yeah, I think look, we are not far away from an independent regulator coming into the Premier League. The Premier League do not want an independent regulator, by the way. You know, they do not want it, but we are not far away. If an independent regulator comes into the Premier League, we're all effed. Because they're going to look at everyone's books. And we are eventually going to know who is making what. You know, if an independent regulator comes in, we are going to find out who makes what. Everyone's books will be open. The Premier League's our books. It's just, it's a madness to me right now. We're not far away from football Armageddon, in my opinion. But financially, does anyone think we're going to have anyone like? Let's take the Premier League for instance. Is the Premier League going to have a massive transfer window this summer? I think it might be pretty quiet. I think it'll be a pretty quiet transfer window for a lot of the Premier League this summer. I think a lot of teams are too scared to buy players. They're too worried about the PSR rules. I think you might see a lot of sales. I think you see a lot of sales. But I just don't think there'll be a lot of transfer business for a lot of teams. I think it'd be quite quiet. Remember, January, everyone shit themselves in January. Like, literally everyone shit themselves in January. Like, no, we ain't buying no one. No one wants to open their books. Look, Liverpool don't want to open their books. Man City don't want to open their books. No one wants to open their books. No one wants their accounts looked at. I just don't feel like anyone's going to do massive business. You know, you got the Euros happening in as well. I just don't think it's going to be a massive summer. I think a lot of teams are going to be more quiet than people realise. I really do. I think Liverpool will buy. Right, here's the thing with Liverpool. Going back to our football club, yeah. Right, this is my thing on everything as well. Liverpool got a massive advantage. Liverpool have a bigger advantage over a lot of teams because we got a shitload of money we can possibly spend. If there's ever a chance for FSG to have everyone on their side, it's going right. We've got a massive advantage. Liverpool don't have to sell anyone to make money, guys. You know, PSR and financial fair play. Liverpool are all good because we play within the rules. Liverpool play within the laws, but Liverpool play within the rules. We've had a good year for commercial revenue. You know, I think we were top 8 or top 7 in commercial revenue around the world, and that's playing in Europa League. Next year, our commercial revenue, I would expect, would be back in the top 5, right? So Liverpool got money to spend. Liverpool financially are set. Liverpool can really take advantage this summer. Really could. We could look at a lot of teams this summer and go, you know what, we're going to have this a go. You know, Chelsea, Man United, we don't know what's happening in Man United right now. City, they're going for all this court stuff at the moment. They're suing the Premier League. Then they got to worry about this 115 charges. So I know Man City. And Man City look like they have to sell Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez only just joined Man City, what, 18 months ago? And now they're looking, they have to sell him, right? Before they can really buy anyone. You know, I was speaking to Man City fans on Mo's channel. That looks like that's what's going to have to happen. They're going to have to sell Julian Alvarez, right? Liverpool don't really need to sell anyone. We don't really need to sell anyone. This is a point in time where Liverpool can look at their rivals and go, right, Arsenal spent a lot of money in the last few years. They're going to have to release some of the players off their books before they go big. City look like they're trying to get rid of Julian Alvarez, so they look like they have to sell before they go and buy. You know, Chelsea are doing whatever they're doing. Aston Villa apparently can't spend any money. Aston Villa need to sell some players before the end of June. Otherwise, they're going to get a points deduction by the look of it and get smashed. Liverpool should be sitting there going, hang on. We got a bit of a free, we got a bit of a free reign over here. We got a bit of Liverpool only lost up, I think, if you look at Liverpool's losses, I think Liverpool lost between 4 and 6 million last year. Yeah. You got to lose between 110 million to break FFP rules. Liverpool are nowhere near that. Nowhere near it. And next year, our commercial revenue is going to go up because we're in the Champions League. So Liverpool can really, in theory, spend 300 million this summer and no one could blink an eye. Liverpool have got an advantage, and this is a chance for FSG. And if you think about it, the one thing I will say about FSG, the one thing I will say about them, they have run the club extremely well on this point of view. We play within the rules. At least we're playing within the rules, and they've run the club extremely well. So what I want to see them do now is just go, right, you guys have waited your time. We played within the rules. Everyone else is fucked right now. We're going to fucking go for it. We're going to go for it. Right? Here's your money. And I'm not asking, I don't particularly want us to spend 300 million or anything like that. I just want us to see a bit of whoa, there's a player, let's go for him. Now, we've been hearing rumours today and yesterday that Liverpool want to buy a player like an Alisson or Van Dijk this summer. They've got the money to go and buy that calibre of player like an Alisson or a Van Dijk. So a lot of people think it's going to be Bruno Guimarães from Newcastle. So apparently Liverpool are very interested in Bruno. Now, a lot of people think you can buy Bruno a lot cheaper than his buyout clause because Newcastle financially. It's weird to say Newcastle are financially in trouble because they've got the wealthiest owners in world sport, but that's the rules of football, guys. That's how mental it is, yeah? But they literally need to sell something. So you could get Bruno for 70 mil. And the way we're working at the moment, the way Liverpool, the way FFP and PSR and all that is working at the moment, Liverpool could literally go to Newcastle and go, look, we're not going to buy his buyout clause, but you need him gone. You need him sold to do your business so you don't lose any points or anything. We'll buy Bruno off you for 70 million. We'll buy Bruno off you for 70 million. Why don't we just go and do that? We can. We've got the power. We've got the money. They've run us well in a fact that we've not, fucked up financially. Now, I know a lot of people will say, oh, have they run us well? We shouldn't be, we should be spending this much. But look, guys, Newcastle came in, spent a bit of money, and they can't spend any money now. Chelsea has spent £1 billion in 12 months, wasted a lot of it. How did they get around FFP? They sold their training ground and their hotel back to themselves, because they were owned by a third party, and they bought them and they basically sold it back to a third party. Do you know who owns that training ground and hotel, by the way? Chelsea. It's just their third party owns it. So they sold it to themselves, and that's how they broke FFP. You see City doing what City are doing right now. They've got all these charges. They're trying to sue the Premier League. So I know people don't like FSG and all that, but I will give them credit in the fact that at least they're trying to run us in a legal matter, legally trying to do things correct. you know what I'm saying? They're legally trying to like, we ain't gonna get done for anything. And we do spend money. We can't sit here and pretend we don't spend money, you know. We have spent big money on big players. So they got a chance this summer to go, you know, fuck all that. We don't really need to sell anyone. Our financial stuff with FFP and PSR is really good at this moment in time. Everyone else is struggling around us. Let's take advantage. This is their chance to take advantage, guys. And that's what irritates me. This is what's irritating, I think, a lot of you in the chat. We've seen the figures. We know what's going on. Liverpool could take advantage of everything this summer. You know, people are talking about Elise. Elise's got his release clause for 60 million. Go and do it. Go. Like Liverpool, in theory, guys, Liverpool could go and get Elise's release clause and actually play Bruno's release clause at Newcastle and get both of them without blinking an eye and getting worried about PSR or FFP. You know, Liverpool won't have to worry about any of that. They wouldn't even have to blink an eye because of the work they've done in the last few years. They're nowhere near it. They could literally go and do that and take just take a step ahead of their opposition. You know, they could go and get Gertruda from Feyenoord, who I think Liverpool really rate, is available for only 25 million quid. Go and get him as well. Look, that's a small transfer window. Say we go and get Elise for 60 million. We pay 70 or 80 million for Bruno Guimarães, and we go and play Gertruda for 25 million. That's only 3 players. So it's a small transfer window, but they're 3 quality players that would make our team so much better, and it gives us a head start against everyone. And then next season, when it rolls over next season, our commercial revenue will probably put us back into the top 5 in world football again because we're back in the Champions League. We got this advantage. You know, we've got a little advantage here. And I think that is just my... You got Fofana at Monaco, he's available. We got Scottish Bear, he's available for 25 million. We got a lot of players around that, you know, we could go and get. Go and make that advantage where, like, we need a centre-back. We need... Gertruda can come in and play that centre-back, full-back role. Perfect. 25, 30 million. Done. Bruno's not out and out DM, but he's that player that would, you know, fit that role, what we want to play. 70, 80 million, whatever it is, pay it, get it done. Elise, 22-year-old right winger. We're going to need someone to take Mo Salah's spot in a year or two's time. 60 million release clause. Go and get it done. It makes our squad better straight away. It makes us so much more better. And we could just take that. You could take that chance. We have got that gamble. We've got that advantage, but no one's talking about it. Have you noticed, guys, that no YouTuber or big accounts or anything like that are actually talking about Liverpool's transfer dealings, because Liverpool have got an advantage over United, City, Chelsea, and Aston Villa and these teams at the moment in time, because they're nowhere near these FFP regulations. But the reason they're not talking about it is because they know Liverpool won't do it. And that's the issue, guys. That's the issue. A lot of people should be talking about it. Chelsea YouTubers, Man United YouTubers, City YouTubers, neutrals talk about all football in their channels. Should be talking about it, going, look, Liverpool got an advantage here. They should be taking that advantage and going for it. But no one is, because they know Liverpool won't. And that, for me, is a little bit sad. Big up Delwyn Jones said, I expect selling players this summer is where we are going to focus on. Unexpected / expect is incoming. Edwards and Hughes is currently exploring a new player now. So it was a great talk with them all. I agree, Delwyn. I think Liverpool will buy. Look, I'm not going to say Liverpool won't go buy. Liverpool will buy. It's just... like who? I'm not sure who. We've been linked with that young guy who's from Newcastle. I believe he was at loan at Feyenoord last season. Does anyone know his name? His name's gone right out of my right out of my head. Anyone know his name? He's a Newcastle player. He was on loan at Feyenoord last year. Apparently, Arne Slot thinks he's going to be amazing. So Arne Slot thinks he's going to be amazing, and apparently Liverpool are linked with him. Yeah, I just want Liverpool to spend wisely and just take advantage of the situation that we're in at this moment in time. That's what I'm saying. Liverpool don't need to go and spend 300 million this summer. I don't need them to, but they could take advantage of the situation other clubs find themselves in right now, because Liverpool don't find themselves in that situation, do they? So just spend wisely and just take a step ahead. Go ahead of your opposition quickly when they're still fiddling around with their accounts and going, right, how do I get rid of that player to make FFP all right? Who can we spend it on? Who have we got to sell? Liverpool are not in that right now. Liverpool could take advantage and get some good players in. You know, it's like maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Yeah, that's the player. Is it Mintar? 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 I don't know how you pronounce his name. Did well, but he needs to stay there one more year. We'll go and play for another team. Yeah, we should be able to generate. I think we'll generate a lot of money this summer. I think we're going to sell a lot of players. Big up. Yeah, hit the likes, guys. Get 100 likes. What are we doing on 90 or 200 people in the house? Come on, guys. Let's smash them likes up if we can. I appreciate it. More likes, get more people watching the video, then helps get more subscribers. So, yeah, got 190 people in the house, 93 likes, guys. Let's get 100 likes real quick. Let's get 100. We've got 7 people who hit that like button. We've got 190 people in the house. Just 7 people hit that 100. Get to 100. Let's go, guys. Right now. Let's go. Let's see if we can do it right now. Let's see if we can do it right now. I would appreciate it. Matt Weaver is not big money, but I think it would be a smart buy to help the team transition to slot systems. Says Robert Maguire. Big up, Robert. Great shout. Yeah, it's pronounced Minta. Big up, honesty. Jamie, big up, chat, special likes and subscribe. Yes, guys. Centurion, big up. Thank you very much, guys. You know, I appreciate you all. Much love to every one of you. There you go. We're over the 102 now. Jamie, no chance of getting Gertrude or for fun of 25. They'll be around for. Yeah, I just, I only saw, I don't know what their value is, only what I saw today in some of the newspapers and online. That is between 20 and 30 million for Gertrude. It's because it's a Dutch league, ain't it? You're not really going to spend that much money from players from the Dutch league. It's usually between that 30 and 40 million. Unless you're stupid like Man United and go buy Anthony for 85 million when he's like a 30 million pound player. You know, unless you're dumb like that, you know, usually them sort of players, yeah. But that's all I want from the football club, guys. So it's not me. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to bash the owners. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I would be a bit pissed off if they didn't take advantage this summer of the situation Liverpool find themselves in. I'll give them credit. They've look, if you look at teams in the Premier League alone right now that are still messing around with their boardroom, getting the right people in, looking for a manager, don't know if they're going to sack a manager, all this sort of crap. Now, Liverpool, they got their whole backroom staff sorted before the end of the season and a brand new manager. So I'll give them credit for that. They moved fast and they did it correctly. You know, Edwards in, Julian Ward back in, people we all trust and know that can do a great job. You know, Arne Slot in. I can't wait to see Arne Slot, man. I ain't gonna lie. I can't wait to see Arne Slot. I want to see. I'd love to see. Well, obviously we now know Arne Slot's press conference is not going to be till what, the beginning of pre-season, so around early July. It makes sense because, on the 1st of June, when he officially became a Liverpool manager, it was Champions League day, so all the world media will be at the Champions League. Then Monday is the start of international week for friendlies for the Euros, and then next weekend's the Euros. So in reality, when would you have been able to give Arne Slot this big press conference at the, Liverpool Football Club? The world media will be there. It's massive, and so I understand it does make sense. July 1st, yeah, July the 1st. Big up, Liverpool Club. July the 1st will probably be his press conference. I'm all right waiting until then. I'm all right waiting until then. But yeah, I just wanted to do a little video tonight on that, guys. I hope you appreciate it, and I hope it's all cool and you like it, guys. And yeah, thank you very much, you guys, listening to me. And I appreciate every single one of you, all the 200 people that have been here today. Appreciate every single one of you. It's a midnight show. It's late at night. And I appreciate every one of you. You guys are brilliant. The fan base, the community on this channel is top tier. You guys are beautiful. For a channel my size, no, I'm not a big channel. I've got less than 6,000 subscribers, but the views I get is as close to people that are on 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 subscribers. So you guys obviously like what I'm doing around here. So if I had a hat on right now, I'd take my hat off to you guys. Much love to you guys. You're great. Thank you very much for joining me again tonight. I can't thank you enough. And guys, enjoy your weekend. I'm having a weekend off, guys. I'm probably going to have the weekend off. I think I'm doing a show for Mo on Sunday. And I might do a show here Sunday night, but I'm definitely having Saturday off, guys. Okay. So I'm going to enjoy that with the family. So enjoy. Big up to you guys. Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.